Awesome. So welcome to American Hammers TV. I don't even know. All right. So it's locked down and loaded with my mates. I guess that's why I titled it tonight. The global edition, because we have people from all over the world here with us tonight. We got Charlie Walsh next to me from Hammers Chat. Next to him, we have Danny he's from London, but he's living in North Carolina right now and trying to start a group there, supporters group. Beneath him, we have AJ from New Zealand, Kiwi Hammers TV, and he's frequently on JPWHU TV, our good friends over there. And beneath me is a good friend, Jazz. Jazz from all over the place, Jazz. Good man.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yes.
How you doing, AJ? You all right?
I'm good, mate. Good to see you.
Good.
So nobody's in the chat yet, which kind of sucks. But hey, if you're popping in or seeing this and haven't popped in yet, we're going to feed off the chat tonight about halfway through. But to start things off, what I'd like to do is I saw this article today. It could be old, but it's kind of interesting. I kind of want to go through and get people's opinions on what is it called? I'm not even going to say the names. West Ham's worst squad under Golden Sullivan, the Golden Sullivan era. We're going to go by position and just give everyone's opinions. And obviously, if you agree on whatever the person said before you, just give a couple of reasons why, I suppose. So I guess we'll go clockwise. So starting at the goalkeeper position, let's try to make a worst 11 in the the Golden Sullivan era. Charlie, I think this is an easy one. This is like a slow pitch to you.
So it's under Golden Sullivan. So since 2010. I mean, so the obvious answer everyone's going to say is Roberto.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to think: is there someone else? What about? Was Rude Boffin underneath that? He was terrible. Who else have we had that was just crap?
He was.
No, let's just go Roberto. Screw it.
Yeah, Roberto. I think he's the absolute fucking. If we gave players statues for being piles of shit, I mean, he'd win that one. It'd be a giant statue of him. Nice guy, apparently, but just a shitty goalkeeper. That's all. So, can you think of another one, Danny, or is that it?
I think he's the first one to pop in everyone's head, to be honest. No, I mean, you can't really look at too many goalies that have been second choice at us that have got a chance. I mean, you name someone from a squad that's got a chance as a backup goalie. I can't think of any besides maybe Adrian and Randolph competing, and then Roberto this year to Fabianski. I mean, we had Rob Green. Was Rob Green there at the beginning of the Gold Sullivan?
Oh, he was there for sure.
Yeah.
Who was his backup? Do you remember?
He had a couple. He had Merrick, whatever the fuck his last name is, Stech. He had. I thought Rude Boffin was like the third string keeper, I believe.
But I feel as though we didn't get enough opportunities to see them, to judge them, whereas Roberto, he put a few games together and he was just no
garbage,
to be honest. Yeah, so yeah. Roberto for me, definitely.
Everyone who's watching this right now, I noticed there's like maybe 6 or 7 people, actually 8 people popped up in the chat. Feel free to play along with this. Can any of you guys think of anybody worse under Golden Sullivan era at goalkeeper position, and also all the other positions we talk about? AJ, you agree with these two gentlemen, or
no? I'm going to buck the trend. I know it's a loan, but it still counts under the parameters. One, he was absolutely terrible for us, and I'm going to say Joe Hart.
Ooh, oh yeah, Roberto made us forget about Joe Hart, didn't he? Yeah. He was fucking horrible. He was horrible.
Yeah. To me, they're both very, very similar, as in they probably couldn't catch a fucking cold if their lives depended on it.
Jesus, that's a good one, man. That was nice. Jazz, what do you think, my man?
I think Roberto is the easier one and the obvious one, I think. Yeah, Roberto.
So his backup keeper would be Joe Hart, is what we're saying, right? Do we all agree on that?
Yeah, I think if it has to be someone who has a shout of actually playing first team football, then yeah.
Yeah, but that was a good shout, though, man. So we've given him a backup. All right, cool. Let's see if we can do this with the rest of the positions here. Let's go. All right, instead of doing right back, left back, let's just do full back, and then we'll do the same thing with center backs. We'll just pick 2 full backs and 2 center backs. You can end up picking 2 right backs, or sometimes I don't know. Different people play different positions. But Charlie, actually, no. Let's start with Jazz this time. Pick a fullback that you think was absolute. Just why the hell did we sign him? Absolute shit, or just a guy that had high hopes and ended up not performing whatsoever with us, or we spent too much money on.
It's that guy that came from Arsenal towards the end of his career. God, what's his name?
Oh, Kyle Jenkinson.
No.
No. He played 4 games, I think. Oh God.
Which season?
He got into a bust up with Bilic. He was there in the first season, Olympic Stadium. Oh God. What's his name?
You talking about Arbeloa?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Arbeloa, yeah.
I can remember what happened 20 years ago. I can't remember things 2 years ago.
What was that, Danny?
Arbeloa, didn't he play for Liverpool, not Arsenal?
Yeah, Liverpool, and then he went to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Well, we can't argue with that one. That actually made this particular list that I'm reading from. Anyone wants to follow along? It's actually from Football.London, which I don't know. I thought it was probably actually Sam Inkersole wrote this one, but yeah, it seems like some fun. So, all right. So aside from Arbeloa, is there anyone else you could think of, AJ?
Arbeloa is the main one that comes to mind. I distinctly remember him taking a bit of a tantrum when he tried to be subbed on, and he didn't even have his shirt ready. He wasn't expected to come off the bench, and I just remember him and Bilic just having that row.
Also, anyone in the chat room, please feel free. I don't see any comments on fullbacks yet, but if you could think of a fullback that under the last, 10 years or so that was absolute shit for us. Or maybe
Evra as well. Evra.
Ooh. Yeah, no, that's a good one, man. So besides Arbeloa there, AJ, who do you think?
Just trying to look back over the years. I mean, we've had some decent players, but there have been some real shit ones. I can't, aside from Arbeloa, I can't really think of anyone else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess, like Jazz said, I guess Evra would be a good one to throw in there. Can you think of anyone worse, Dan?
I don't know when we had Razvan Rat at left back or Harita Alunga at left back, but those two come to mind. And then Lucas Neal, when he came from Blackburn, had a good reputation. And I know he became our captain, but he wasn't as good of a performer. Maybe he played him out of position.
No, Lucas Neal was good. He was good.
Yeah.
Good captain, good right back. I'm going to be a bit controversial. I hate Sam Byram. I couldn't stand him. I thought he was crap.
Yeah. Guaranteed a yellow card every game, wasn't he?
Yeah, he didn't have no positional sense. Not much between his ears. Getting booked all the time, and
I had high hopes for him because he was so good in Football Manager. You know, for Leeds.
I had a friend who's a Leeds. He had a friend who's a Leeds United fan, and he said this guy's going to be something great. Captain Leeds.
Yeah,
he's full of goals, running down the wing, and really odd what happened to him.
He was good in Leeds because he was playing a different position as well. By the end of it, it's a kind of small fish, big fish from a small pond kind of thing. But then also he got so good that they kept moving him forward and forward and forward. And by the time we bought this supposed right back, he was actually technically playing at right wing. It wasn't even like he was close to playing at right back by that time. And that's just because of the way he played. It's a bit like when you look at, I don't know, Bellerin. Bellerin's great going forward, but he's not all that at the back. He's good, don't get me wrong, and he's significantly better than Byram in every single way. But it's a bit like that thing where you look at him, you could play further forward. And I think Byram had that about him. I think once he turned up, it just wasn't. It wasn't my
Ilunga's
time.
Ilunga's a good shout. He played in our promotion season in the championship. That was his last season with us. Bailey played. I don't think he played a lot of games though, but yeah, he was there. And then, but yeah, I had high hopes for Byram. But yeah, immediately as soon as he played his first match with the club, I mean, it was apparent that he just was not cut out for the Premier League, which reminds me of a little somebody. But anyway, we'll get into that when it's my turn. But Charlie, can you think of anybody worse than any of the guys we've mentioned so far at either side of the fullback?
Well, I'm going to say there shouldn't be anything said bad about Razvan Rat for that one picture of him in a onesie that was in the club catalogue, because I remember getting that through the door. That was a beautiful day. Just seeing Razvan Rat, I could barely remember what he looked like, and there he was, onesie and all. It was a glorious time. The only other one I could think of off the top of my head was Wayne Bridge. When we got him,
Ooh.
I don't even remember if we got him on loan or on a free or what, but he was just rubbish.
It was a loan.
It was a loan. Tim, shall I give you I share the same hairdresser as Wayne Bridge.
Mm.
Nice one. No shit. There you go. Yeah. Fucking Wayne Bridge. That guy.
What a name, though, Razvan Rat. Bloody hell.
That's what I'm saying. I did enjoy the name, but God, man, he was old. I mean, he looked like he put in effort. You know, I got to give him that much, but he was just, I don't know, what, 35, 36 years old? At fullback, that's kind of rough.
I mean, going back to Carl Jenkinson, he had a good first season and he totally collapsed after that. The confidence went. Crowd went on his back. Yeah,
had that huge injury, didn't he?
Yeah. But he did have a great season, with us for sure. Did I miss someone's turn, or are we all set here? All right, so Ryan Fredericks, that's my choice. Fuck that piece of shit, and he's absolutely a championship quality player, like Sam Byram. He will be a great big fish in a small pond, but he is not cut out for the Premier League. And that's just my personal opinion. None of the other people in this chat room have that same opinion, as far as I know. Well, maybe the guy next to me, but not as passionate about it. Listen,
I mean, look, let me put it this way, right? He's not good. I'll say that. I think is he good enough for the Premier League? I don't think so. But he
we've had worse, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I will say that. Yes, we've definitely had worse. I'm only joking. I only threw it out there because someone in the chat room said, "Gee, I wonder what Tim's going to say," and that's what they were assuming. But anyway, no, I definitely agree with Arbeloa, and I say, I don't know. What's that? Pablo Amaro, whatever. What's the guy's name? From
Pablo Amaro, yeah.
Yeah, that guy. Was he Colombian or something like that?
Yeah.
Colombia.
Yeah. He didn't really do much. He had can't say high hopes, but he had a reputation, and didn't really perform. You know what I'm saying? So I throw him in there too. But I love everybody's answers so far.
We haven't got much luck with signing Colombians, have we, Tim?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, we had some glimpses with Enner Valencia, some glimpses of brilliance with some nasty shots and stuff like that, but it was not consistent enough to back his reputation. Carlos Sanchez is obviously the biggest one that comes to mind, which we'll probably get to when we get to central midfielders. But yeah, so all right. So besides Arbeloa, who's our second fullback? The most picked for garbage?
Probably Rat.
Well, I've just had a name that's popped into mind. Stephen Hendry.
Oh yeah, he lives South End now, isn't he, or somebody like that?
He didn't.
He's somewhere around.
He hardly played, did he? I'm not sure.
No,
I can't remember him playing.
But when he did play, when he did play, I don't know about you guys, but I found him the most infuriating defender to watch. And I don't know why I didn't think of it before, but just everything about him made me cringe so much.
Yeah. Well, I agree, but I just don't think he played enough for us to stick him in the starting lineup here of the shittiest.
Who are you talking about? I missed who you mentioned.
Stephen Hendry. Yeah, I mean, he had promise and stuff like that, but really didn't. I mean, Could we also say? Oh, we can't say. Never mind. That'll come up next. I know who's going to come up next. I know a few people are going to come up next, and I can't wait to discuss it. Actually, but so we still haven't decided. So I'm sorry. Who is our second fullback? Who's like?
I think Rat. I think Rat. I think Arbeloa and Rat.
Arbeloa and Rat.
As much as I really I can't stress how much I love that picture. I really genuinely I hold it. I've got like a little frame picture of it. I hold it close to my heart at all times. But yeah.
Jesus. All right. Okay. All right. Well, we'll go with that. The one that made the list, just so you guys know, the one that made the list on this Football.London article was actually Emmanuel Pogatetz.
See, I was thinking about him as a centre back, but he probably was a left back. To be fair.
He was, yeah, I thought so.
I mean, left back in the changing room was probably the correct thing to say, but still,
Yeah, Arbeloa was also centre back, wasn't he too? No, yeah.
Arbeloa was definitely right back.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah. Oof. Yeah. Let's just jump right into. I can't wait for this one. Let's just jump right into the defenders. All right, the center backs. This should be probably the most fun. Please, in the chat room, I would love to see you guys throw up some names and give us a little bit of help here. But I don't think we're going to need much help with center backs. If anybody says James Tompkins, I'll throw you out of the fucking room and never bring you back. I'll never bring you back again.
Your love child, James Tompkins.
Not allowed. All right, so, but everybody in the chat room, go ahead and drink now and get it out of the way. But all right, so worst, absolute worst. We'll start. I guess since Dan moved positions on the feed here, we'll start with you, Dan.
That's tricky, actually. I know you guys are making it sound like it's a simple.
Well, I have the list here, so yeah. I didn't give you guys any time to prepare on this topic.
No, so, I mean, that's tricky. We've had so many over the years. Might need a second to think on that.
All right. Well, if you want me to go ahead and skip you, I'll come back to you.
Yeah, I was thinking Doniel Henry, but he didn't even get a game, did he? I just saw some preseason action. Doniel Henry, the guy from Canada that came over.
I don't know if he got a game.
Got a game for us.
But no, he had some reputation, yeah.
Calamitous. Oh no, need a second to think about that.
Well, I mean, there's one that's not even on this fucking list that I cannot wait to say, and I hope one of you guys say it before me. Jazz. Come up with one or two, but I guarantee you.
I've got Roger Johnson and Fonte.
Fonte wasn't that bad, was he?
Not for he wasn't any good for us anyway.
I will disagree. I like Jose Fonte. Carry on.
Roger Johnson.
That's the absolute number one. It's got to be. All right. I mean that's also on the list. Roger the Relegator Johnson. Yeah, he didn't. Well, we didn't expect much out of him either, though. I mean, it wasn't like he brought a positive reputation with him. But at the same time, yes, in the few matches he played, he was garbage. Absolutely. AJ.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn because I want to say Jose Fonte as well, because there were quite a few games where, again, you just wanted to scratch your eyes out, but at least with him, there was some layer of consistency with him. Apart from that, yeah, Roger Johnson definitely number one for me.
Okay. Charlie.
So I've got the Wikipedias open and I'm trying to find people because I'm certain, especially in their early area, there are definitely people we forgot. And the people I have found, Pogatet was one of them. Abdoulaye Faye.
I was going to say him. That's one of them. I was going to say.
Just trash. And then the other one I found who I genuinely forgotten existed, both as a footballer and as a human being, Danny Collins, who we got on loan.
Danny Collins, yeah, in our championship season.
Yeah, I think we got. Was it from Stoke maybe or someone like that? Or Sunderland.
No.
He was just.
Stoke.
Was it Stoke?
Stoke, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he was not good in any way, shape, or form.
What about Danny Whitbread? He was very good, wasn't he?
No.
Wasn't he a youth player?
Callum
that came from somewhere.
Davenport? When did we have Callum
He
Davenport?
just played one season on it.
There you go. That's another good one.
Callum Davenport. I think that was, to be fair, I think that might have been pre-Gordon Sullivan. Wasn't that like 2000?
I remember he
Davenport,
was a
yeah, that was old.
big
Before the
favourite at Coventry, then he went to Tottenham.
because I think Gold Sullivan, did they come in 2010? Was it?
Best thing.
Yeah.
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 That might have been
Before.
slightly before.
Yeah.
Reece Oxford? Anybody?
Nah, he had one good game. Some of these people,
Yeah.
I'm not even certain, have kicked a football in their lives pre or post that. And we got money for him. Did we get any money for Abdullah Faye?
He went to Hull afterward. No, he was at the tail end of a shit career there. And same thing with from Roger Johnson. That was pretty much the end for him as well. And Henry, Darnell Henry, that we talked about previously, that he that was another one that pretty much went fucking nowhere.
Didn't we get a random American on loan from like Dallas?
Well, if he's American, he's shit. No, we were. I'll never forget this. We trialed him. We trialed him, and we didn't even fucking play a preseason match. He didn't even get in the squad for that. So
George John.
Yeah, he didn't play a match. Yeah, that seems to be it.
What about Papa Boupa Diop? Did he play as a centre back or defensive mid?
He probably did at some point.
Probably. Knowing Sam, he probably did. In my head, he's like a DM, but he probably did, given Sam Allardyce.
He was good at Fulham. I feel like we get all these players that are good at other teams. They come to us.
Most of the people Sam bought, they look like
Here we go. Tal Ben Haim.
the nightclub doorman. Yeah,
Ben
his name
Haim.
came up.
Yeah.
Fullback.
Looking here, they also mentioned, I guess at the left back position, though, we forgot about this. They did mention Stephen Hendry, but they also mentioned Lars Jacobson.
I was going to ask about him.
Pablo Romero was on there, and Patrice Evra also mentioned he's on this list, and Raz Van Rat. They all make the the damn close list. Does anybody else have any honorable mentions that we haven't discussed before we move on to midfielders?
James Tompkins. He's not. He's not good. He was never good.
Jesus Christ.
He wasn't worth 10 million when we sold him, and he's not worth it now.
Is that why he buggered off down to Palace?
Exactly. Down being the operative word.
He was forced out.
I think James Tompkins would be a good choice at right back, but as a centre back, he's all right.
Oh Jesus! He's at right back, man. I think he's better than fucking. I'd rather have him than Frederick.
We just don't have the pace, though. We could put Antonio in that wing back too, can't we?
Yeah, there you go. It depends. You're playing flat. You're playing wing back. Whatever. Anyway, let's get into midfielders. And we're just going to generalize this. Doesn't matter if it's wing, wide, fucking whatever. It's just midfielders, not a striker, not a forward. So basically just any midfielders you can think of. And we've already mentioned Carlos Sanchez, so that doesn't count. That's the absolute obvious answer. So let's make it a little more difficult because there's been so many more midfielders in our squad over the last, 10 fucking years than defenders. So let's start with Charlie and go around.
The first name that came into my head was Kieran Dyer. They didn't buy him, but he was there so long that he went in. He was in their team, carried on. I think he was there until we got relegated. That was the first name that came into my head was Kieran Dyer.
Kieran Dyer.
Because he was the most pointless human being who maybe ever existed on a football field.
Yeah. Here's another one that you're not allowed to mention. It's another obvious. So let's just try. How about this? Let's make it a little more difficult then, because this is going to be too easy, I guess. This midfielder scenario here. Let's not do anybody this year. Nobody in the current squad.
Hello.
Right. Yeah, let's make it a little tougher. So, because obviously, like I said, Sanchez and Wilshere. I know we picked Roberto, but I think Joe Hart was a great second choice for that one too. But anyway, let's. So you said Kieran Dyer. Do you have? Pick another one too.
Okay, here's a controversial one that no one's going to agree with. Kiarte. He's trash. He's not good. He's never been good. He's a good centre back, and that's about it. The guy's fast and he can't do anything else. He can't pass 5 feet, let alone in a football field. The dude was big and he was a lump, and he scored amazing goals out of nowhere, and they were always amazing because you expected him to flip and miss because he's that bad.
Are we talking about Masuaku or are we talking about Kouyaté?
No, Kiarte. No, again, I'm fully aware that I will be by myself in that one.
Because they both can't pass for shit. And They both can shoot. Anyway, yeah, dude, I don't like that one, man. I think this is the first time I'll disagree with you on something like that.
He wasn't good. He's a good defender. He should have been a centre back. If he was a centre back, he would have been great.
He had 2 good seasons. Yeah, he had 2 good seasons. So, and after that, he kind of didn't really bother after that.
Come on, man. Come on, dude. Anyway, AJ, pick 2.
Well, good thing you asked. Gokhan and Torre. And my second choice, I hated him. Edmilson Fernandez.
You didn't like him, huh?
No.
I didn't like him either.
He offered nothing up top. Torre, I don't even know where that came from. And what's he doing now? He played, 3 or 4 games, broke his ankle, fucked up with a paycheck? But no, Fernandez offered nothing up top for us. You could see the Bilic tried to get the most out of him, but it's just like getting blood from a stone. It was nigh impossible for him to actually put together anything up top. It didn't matter if we gave him all the service under the sun or fuck all in the way of service. He still just was absolute tripe for him.
Yeah. And, Torre was just fat. That's all there is to it. I mean, that dude he put Benny McCarthy to shame. He was just fat. All right, Jess, pick 2.
All right, I'm going to go for the Mexican winger who lit the World Cup, Barrera.
Good one.
Big disappointment. And again, another winger who didn't like to cross the ball, which is quite odd.
That is odd.
Didn't have the confidence to take on anyone. And the second one is absolutely hated him for the biggest waste of money ever. Freddie Ljungberg from Arsenal.
Yes.
Absolutely load of crap.
Was Ljungberg before them? Because wasn't Ljungberg brought in by Eggert, and then he probably was gone before he came in? I don't know that for certain. I'd have to double check. But
let me check. I thought he was there 1 year at least.
to be
It's
fair,
not him. Yeah, if not him, then Nordved. I didn't like Nordved either. I didn't.
Yeah,
like
he actually came up earlier.
I
Yeah.
will fight anyone who disses Havard Nordved.
Charlie, if you remember, you were singing that praises in the Slack group chat that we had.
Thank you,
when
AJ.
we were doing Brace the Hammer.
AJ will back me. I've been saying this since the start. He was good, goddammit. He was good. You don't know what you're saying, bro.
I'm sorry, mate. No, he was crap.
That's
why Fulham went and got him.
If we had kept him, we wouldn't have needed a centre mid for this long. Havard was the guy.
Oh my god! You need to drink, Charlie. I'm gonna give you a rum to you.
Oh boy! Well, there you go.
AJ, you remember Nordved when he took Son down for that Spurs game at Hart Lane? We lost that one 3-2. That penalty, Harry Kane. I'll never forgive him for that. Bloody hell, terrible. But yeah, I think Charlie's right about Ljungberg. Yeah, maybe he wasn't quite there then. But I'll go for those two, Barrera and Nordved. Apart from that, Torre was the other one I was thinking of, and obviously Sanchez as well. Yeah.
Jan, pick a couple, man. There's plenty to go around.
Gokhan Torre, definitely, hands down. Yeah. Pre-Golden Sullivan, I'd say Mascherano. After that, I'd go Gokhan Torre. And honestly, for the hype that he got coming to us, he was pony, he was really soft. Didn't offer much besides one random cross a game and spare goal. Sofiane Feghouli, I expected a lot more from him when he came in. And then Nordveit for me. Sorry, Charlie, but Nordveit.
Nordveit was Sanchez before Sanchez.
Hey, I
love that line.
Listen, sometimes you've got to, sometimes you've just got to be wrong. You've got to be right in the face of everyone being wrong. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you've got to take that hit. One day, people will look back on this stream and they'll go, he was right all along. And they'll be pointing at me and none of you mugs because that boy was good and I refuse to admit otherwise.
Oh, boy.
I don't know what you've been smoking, but please pass it around.
Yeah, man. I mean,
it's only going to get worse when we get to striker. Let's be real. Carry on.
Yeah, Torre definitely, I think, would probably be. I don't know. I would. I have to agree with that one. That would be on my list for sure. I don't agree about Koyate, and I don't agree about. I'm here nor there with Nordveit. I'm not going to say he was absolute shit. I just think that he had a. I don't know. I mean, I've seen him. I don't know. Yeah, he had like,
Alou
2
Diarra.
games.
Alou Diarra. Alou Diarra.
Diarra,
You're
man.
talking
There you
about Nordveit. Alou Diarra.
Diarra was shit. 100%. 100%. Yeah. I mean, I wish I actually did some research on this before. I wish I gave you all the opportunity. I wish I did some research before I bring this topic up, because I can't think of anybody from the Allardyce era that was shit. I mean, at midfield. I mean, we had because he pretty much played the same fucking midfielders over and over. I can't think of anyone. Most of the people were like bench players. I never even saw the light of day, because I mean, it was Nolan, it was Noble, it was constant. And his
Parker
winger.
was there working for Allardyce.
Who?
Wasn't Scott Parker there under Allardyce, or was that?
No,
before?
that was before, the year before. He was sold by Allardyce. Yeah.
Okay, Elliot.
So I guess he was there preseason with him, but that was it. Yeah.
How would you guys, without going into it, obviously we're talking about something completely different. Obiang, are you guys a fan of him or not?
Was, and then the last season with us, he was absolute shit, and he had a couple of opportunities to start, and he didn't fulfill. He didn't show that he deserved to start. He was done. I mean, his time was up. But I did enjoy his time. I mean, the years before that with Obiang. Anybody else want to chime in on Obiang?
I liked him to finish. I think he wasn't as good as Nordveit. No, I liked him. I just think that it's like Tim said, I think he ever strung together enough good games. And I think early on, I wanted him to, and I think he maybe could have if he'd given more opportunities. But early on, he sort of never got them. Because Song was in the team and Cheikhou Kouyaté and stuff, and he just wasn't getting into it. And then he never put the runs together. I think when he was good, he was really, really good. But when he was bad, he was basically pointless.
Yeah, we got people talking about just that goal against Spurs. I mean, that's what will be ingrained in everybody's minds. But other than that, overall,
Samir Nasri.
Yeah, Nasri's come up a bit. Nasri has come up a bit. I mean, I'd seen him in his name come up in the chat room, and also Luis Boa Morte.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That would definitely be one. If anybody says Julian Faubert, they're kicked. But
Morgan Amalfitano.
He had some good games, though.
I like Amalfitano.
He had some good games. He had some shit games too. It's one of those. I don't know. There's other players like that, like Obiang even. He had some shit games, but he had some fucking really good games for us. Won a couple games for us. He scored in that Liverpool victory at Anfield. Remember that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the reason he comes to mind is because, you want to bring up Pedro Obiang, you've got to mention Morgan Amalfitano in there as well.
Yeah.
Two very, very, very similar players, but at the same time, they'll be remembered for some good moments and some absolutely shit moments.
Yeah.
So
and Nasri also. I'm sorry?
What if you've got to pick one out of Obiang, Kouyaté, and Diame? Could you put Diame in there as a possible give you 15 good games and 20 bad ones a season?
Maybe then. Okay, now that you phrase it that way. Yeah. But Diame had some really good games, man.
Bad games, just kind of.
Yeah.
He's still playing, isn't he? Newcastle still gets in the team.
Yeah.
Remember when he wanted to play for a top 6 team?
Yeah, and then he ended up with Hull.
And then he played in the top 6 team in the second division.
Exactly. Yeah. Nasri's another one that fits in that category for me, because with us, he had some moments of brilliance. He had some moments where he actually lifted the players around him and actually, helped us win the match. But then he just wasn't into it. He'd have like 3 or 4 games where he wasn't into it out of the 10 games. So anyway, Nasri definitely falls in that category. This is where it should definitely get some fun here. I think what we say is, we all agree on Boa Morte being shit. We all agree on Torre being shit. Who else do we all agree on for the midfielders? I'm sorry, because we need like 4. So
Hubbard and Nordvik.
Diarra, yeah,
Barrera, yeah.
and Barrera. Okay, good enough for me. Strikers. Let's
Benny
start.
McCarthy.
Yeah. Well, all right, start with AJ. Yeah, AJ. What? Benny McCarthy.
Yeah.
Pick two. There's
Benny
got to be a
McCarthy.
shitload. It's got to be.
You know, I'll never forget his goal against Crystal Palace, and to be honest, his move to Liverpool from Newcastle was absolutely what the fuck. But Andy Carroll, the controversial one. Let's get it over and done with. Andy Carroll.
I love that. You know, oh god.
Charlie's
Starting
passed
like
something
me,
over.
though.
Charlie's passed the virus onto AJ.
We're rubbing off on you over here. Oh, good stuff.
I'm sorry. He was great when he was match fit, but for the most part, you know, what was the final amount of goals versus how much he actually cost us when we got him from Liverpool?
It was
Because it's the
worse.
only
Let's
way
just put it this way: it was actually worse for Liverpool than it was for us. Let's put it that way. He scored like 4 goals and like 58 appearances with them, something stupid like that, and they spent a shitload of money there. So
yeah,
they actually
the 30 million.
Not that I feel bad for them, but I'm just saying.
But then again, if you want a real serious, a serious two, it's got to be Mido or Mido or however the fuck you pronounced his name. Him and Betty McCarthy. Yeah.
Yeah, those are two-eyed. And Clary had written down. I don't know. Clary didn't do much, did he?
Yeah, Clary's on here. The one that I was going to choose, my favorite guy reference here, Marwan Schmuck, fucking guy with his goddamn hair. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't think he was ever good anywhere. And we got him from like Arsenal on loan or something like that. How the fuck did he even end up at Arsenal? But anyway. And then Zaza, yeah, that one should be coming up. So besides those guys, listen, there's apparently 30 strikers or 27 to 30 strikers that David Gold and Sullivan fucking signed over this period. So there's got to be a few more. Anybody have any honorable mentions here? So actually, just Jazz. Is there anybody in particular besides the obvious that we've already mentioned?
No, all those names that so far I've had.
It'll be tough. Yeah. Danny.
Anna Valencia.
Ooh. He had some good fucking goals, man.
The goals he scored, fair enough, he scored good goals, but look at his stats and what he done at the World Cup. We expected so much more than what we got.
This is a different time period, but
way back.
John Radford, that's a little old, but
Demichelis, I think it was. Demichelis.
Yeah.
He was soft, and Diego Tristan came in. I don't know if that was early days.
That was earlier, yeah.
Yeah, Mido and
actually,
McCarthy
Tim, what about Jetty?
Jetty's current, unfortunately, but yeah, he would fit in this list. We'll just fuck it. Let's just go off the rails here and not even make a team. Let's just keep naming names. I love this negativity. It's so great. It's so much fun. Madebu Maega.
Yeah,
you got anybody?
Yeah.
The guy only scored off the bench. He's had like 7 goals, and they're all off the bench.
The ones I had written down were Maega, Mido, Benny McCarthy, obviously. John Carew was really good at times before us, and that really was at times.
Robbie
and
Keane?
then he turned up and he's rubbish. Yeah, Robbie Keane got a couple of goals, to be fair to him, but even
he missed the open goal that got us down.
I remember he scored against Blackpool, didn't he? Yeah.
And then Marco Borriello was the other one I had.
Borriello, yeah.
We got
so then, what was that other nitwit that we signed with Borriello?
Not Chirino. He has a great beard, though. He had a great beard, and I don't know if I'm okay with saying that yet. He had a great beard.
What about David Bentley?
I can't remember a lot of these, Tim. They only played like single-digit games for us, didn't they? And vanished into the horizon. Yeah.
Most of them.
How about one that never actually got any game time because he was that bad? Wellington Paulista.
Don't ever mention that on my show because he absolutely was the best striker that never got a match. He was absolutely lighting it up better than Anthony Scully or Nathan Holland ever did in the reserves. Absolute legend, man. And he just never got the opportunity because Sam Allardyce is racist and didn't want a Brazilian on the team. He wants to, it wasn't his signing. It was a gift signing. It was one of those gifts that Allardyce used to talk about. And I'm telling you, man, Paulista was literally lighting it up, man. He could score with his fucking head, his shoulder, his ear, his anything, man, his nose. He would score goals. That was his track record. We never got the opportunity, and I was fucking pissed off about that. But anyway.
What about Nikita Jelavic?
Yeah, he scored a couple.
I thought he was okay, but everyone else hated him. Well, I didn't think he was okay. I think he was there for a job, but everyone else hated him.
For a job. There was someone else around that time with him. Oh, Emenike? Yeah.
Yeah.
Garbage. Fucking garbage.
What about David Bentley in midfield?
Bentley.
Do you remember him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Bentley's shit. Well, he said he wasn't into football anymore. You know, at that point, and mentally, I watched an interview with him like recently. He was talking about his times, saying he just didn't love football anymore. And of course, go to West Ham if you don't love football anymore, I suppose. Yeah, there's got to be some. Okay, so let's just take a step back here. Anybody in any of the positions that we haven't mentioned yet, as we've been going along to different positions, did it bring up anybody else in your mind that? Did it trigger any other names in your mind that other positions that we didn't mention? Hold on, I'm just bringing Charlie back here. Oh, there he is. I don't know if you heard any of that, Charlie. Did you hear any of that? So basically, I'm saying, as we've been going along, position by position, did anybody else come to mind at the other positions that we've already mentioned? Maybe from the same era as one of those other players. Like, basically, we could pick anybody off of the, not anybody, but like a lot of people off of that 2010-11 season when we got relegated, pretty much. Any other names popping in mind? Like, I don't know, Henry Lansbury.
What about Torre? Gokhan Torre didn't do much.
Well, we mentioned him. The fat ass.
Yeah,
the fat ass that was bigger than McCarthy, yeah. So, Nicky Maynard, there you go. Yeah.
No, he's all right.
He scored a couple. Out of the two of them, I would have said Sam Baldock out of the two of them. But
yeah,
I had a soft spot for Sam Baldock, to be fair. But
yeah, he missed that penalty in the FA Cup Sheffield Wednesday, and Sam never picked him again. Nicky Maynard, I think he scored in the playoff semi-final. I think Cardiff.
Yep,
he's all right.
Yeah. Charlie, you fucking asshole. No, we're actually talking about the shitty players. Yeah, no, not my man. So anyway, let's just change the subject then. Let's get to this. This is what's really bothering me. What's bothering me is the fact that there's no football, period. Okay? Yeah. What's bothering me is that this shit just keeps on moving along, hasn't, peaked yet and fizzled out everywhere we're supposed to be. We're not back. But the worst part is that we're not, how do I put it, the FA, the UEFA, the whole 9 yards, EFL, whatever, not being transparent with us. You know, are they not meeting at all anymore? Did they just have that one meeting last Thursday and that's it? What's going on? You know? Has anybody heard anything about what the timetable is now, or when they're supposed to be meeting next to discuss what the fuck's going to go on? Have they even thrown out potential ideas? Did they even say that they're working on how they're going to make this work? Let's start with AJ and go around.
Well, the last I heard was that we could be getting back into the swing of things, albeit behind closed doors, and by the end of April. But I don't know how true that was.
Yeah. That's what I heard too. So, yeah. Jess?
when you look at the rugby, for example, I think they've made up their mind that everything's over. The IOC Olympic Games, they're pretty late, but they've kind of said suspended. But the interesting thing with the football is I believe that, I mean, for me, the season should finish, but if it does, then the Premier League might have to refund some money back to Sky and BT. And that's why it's making them think in the background, should we play some games behind closed doors where the government advice obviously is something else, I think. So you're right, they should make up their mind and be a bit more, sort of communication should be there and sort of find out what's going on. But I think that's what they're doing. They're trying to look at, make sure they don't have to give any money back to any of the broadcasting channels. If it does end.
So is it like a lawyer thing? Is it like a law thing where like maybe they just can't tell anybody what's going on because there's going to be so many lawsuits in at hand, no matter what they decide to do, whether it's lawsuits against the actual breach of contract of Sky Sports or BT or whatever, or the Premier League, or it's just lawsuits with clubs. I mean, no matter what they decide to do, shit's going to hit the fan.
I think
somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know how much power the government's got, but because I follow a lot of things betting-wise, last week there was about 4 or 5 leagues in the world that weren't playing behind closed doors. I think there's Belarus, Russia, Ukraine, Turkey, just those 4 or 5 leagues. And this week, I think they've stopped that as well now. So no one's playing anything at the moment. So I think it's what role the government's got in it. If they did want to play behind closed doors, can the government say no? And also about the money issue, I think. So those things are in the back of the mind, I believe.
Yeah. Danny, what are your thoughts on this, man? Have you heard anything that we haven't, anything new?
Not really. I mean, I completely agree with pretty much everything Jazz has just said. I don't think that the whole lockdown in England, the people not listening, are helping our chances of getting the season going up again. Seen a lot of images and stuff of tubes being full and people waiting at train stations and stuff. We're not going to get anywhere if these people don't listen.
We actually have a friend of ours here, Steve Mothersoul, actually drives a bus in London, and he says that his bus is fucking packed every day.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I mean, they're not helping. They're not helping the case. I think I saw something last week that pissed me off. Boris, the Prime Minister, he said that they're not even going to fund tests anymore. They're just going to come into the, if you're feeling something, come into the hospital. Yeah. And if they can afford it, they'll do it. But he doesn't have the funds to do what what he needs to do. It's not helping our cause to get football going again.
No. We're going to end up going back around with, I'm going to ask all your opinions on what you'd like to see done, what you actually, versus what you actually think will happen. But Charlie, have you heard anything new, or what's the last you heard?
No, same as everyone else. I think the truth is that they just don't know, and they're never going to know because the world doesn't know. It's a very weird situation where there'll never be any certainty right up until there's loads of certainty again. And at this point, we're 3 weeks removed from being claimed a pandemic, maybe 2 weeks since it happened or something like that. It's not going to be cleared up until very late May at the very earliest. That was when you maybe might see some more clarity from sporting bodies. I think you look at like the Olympics, who've just said no, it's happening another time, we're just postponing it now. And like Jazz mentioned, there's a couple of other people who have been a bit clearer. I think the Premier League are under such a weird position because there is so much money in it. They're tied up in contracts with major broadcasters, like more so than any other sport. They've got obviously legal stuff, although I think realistically this season will always have an asterisk by it no matter what happens. There will always be an asterisk by this season. Probably investors probably want the certainty, so they're probably continuously meeting. But I don't think there's anything you can actually talk about in those meetings. What are you going to discuss? Oh, is it still happening? Yeah. Okay, well, see you next week. Like, what's the meeting going to be realistically? This is the situation we're in, and I think until late May, mid-June, late June, we're not going to get any sort of clarity on what's actually going to happen because literally the world doesn't know. And it's not even how we respond as a country because we're England, it's how everyone else responds as well. How does the rest of the transfer markets work? Or how are the other countries responding? How does this happen? How does that happen? There's so many different factors at play that until the world sort of gets its crap together, the Premier League has zero chance of getting its crap together.
Yeah, no, you're right. So what do you see happening versus what do you want to see happen?
I think what's previously mentioned, I think we'll get behind the closed doors games. I think once they get to a stage where the testing is in place to really make it plausible to have that many people in a football stadium at once, then I think, or at least in close quarters, training, everything, I think that's when it happens. I think we get behind closed doors games for the rest of the season. Because realistically, in England, we're not going to see this go away until maybe it won't be a non-issue until probably into next season, regardless. I think behind closed doors games are what we'll see specifically because of broadcasters and everything else.
Gotcha. Danny, what are your thoughts on what do you see happening versus what would you like to see happen?
I wouldn't like to see behind closed door games, but I think it's going to come to that. Players are going to have to earn their money and stuff. I think that someone's going to take a stand somewhere along the line and say, we need to get this going again. I think that becomes the number one option at this stage behind closed doors. But I don't want to see that. You can't take away the fans from the football, But yeah, I think that's what it's going to come down to, and I can't see anything happening during the month of April. Every day someone who is getting this virus, and I just can't see it.
Do you actually see behind closed doors matches with like non-league clubs, with League Two, League One, Championship? You see those teams doing that too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everyone does it.
I can't fucking picture that at all. I can't. Just blows my fucking mind.
It's a big advantage to the away team. Yeah, I don't know.
But then again, that's what I mean. But there's always an asterisk. It's like no matter what the solution is, there will always be a line under this season of being like, well, something weird happened. I mean, like, even if, let's say, the testing comes into place and they're aware of every single player who would be on a pitch doesn't have it or isn't at risk or whatever, like, one of them might have it and so they can't play. Like, so they didn't have their striker, they didn't have this, their coaching staff couldn't start because one of them had it or whatever. The case is that it's always going to be something weird. Like, it just always will. Like, I didn't answer what I want, but that's the reason I want the behind closed door stuff to happen, and I want it done in a quick time frame. It's just to get it out of the way so we can go back to normal. We can go back to carrying on how it was, and then we can just move on. We can look at this season and go, yeah, that was bloody weird. That was a thing that happened in the world. That happened. Because it's not just we talk about it in terms of football, but let's be real, it's not football, is it? It's going to be written in history books. Like, there'll be a kid in a class somewhere and reading a history book of what happened in 2020 when the coronavirus hit. Like, whatever option there is no clean way.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dan.
There's always going to be an argument this season.
Yeah.
If, say, the season resumes, West Ham play Aston Villa, West Ham lose, West Ham go down. Well, then the argument becomes we played Aston Villa at their place, they had a crowd. We didn't have a crowd. I think there's always going to be a team's going to look for an argument this season. Everyone's got to get together and figure this out. I think I would like, obviously, where we're sitting, I don't want it voided because I want to watch football. And I think we're going to stay up genuinely. But I would not mind the season being voided, everyone getting fit, getting in shape and starting fresh. And I would go to a 22 team, bring up the top two from the championship. I think it's West Brom and Leeds. And just go 22 and void the season and start fresh. No arguments or anything. Get everything out the way. Sort everything out and go again.
Well, the argument would be with the team that the potential playoff winner. I mean, because that's a big money fucking.
There's going to be an argument everywhere, Tim.
No matter what.
There's going to be an argument.
Yeah,
there's going to be an argument the entire way around.
Well, there's a lot of opinion here in the chat room as well. But Jazz, what do you think is going to happen versus what would you like to see happen?
I'd like for the season to end. Liverpool get the title. European positions are honoured. No one gets relegated. Top three from the championship go up, and that carries on until Division 3 has, I think, 3 less teams. And then next season, you could relegate 4 and then 5 the following season, 6 after that. So that's what I'd like to see happen. What I think is going to happen, I think that's what's going to happen. Not in terms of what they're going to decide, but I think the season will be void. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think the government's going to allow the matches to take place. Yeah.
They can't right now.
AJ.
Yeah, I have to agree with Jazz on that one. As much as I'd like to see us, finish out the season, it's got to be voided, but you've got to reward the hard-working teams who have played the football games, who have got the necessary points, who have got that advantage. Bring them up. Yes, completely agree with that. give Liverpool the title. They've, as much as we slag the bin dippers off, they've been pretty tough opponents this season. But with the likes of the Championship and League One, and just you've got to do what's fair, and if fair means promoting certain teams up to reward them, cool. But yeah, I just think that it's going to be voided no matter what no matter what happens. I think this season is going to be voided.
Voided and restarted, like just the way it was. Is that what you're saying, or
not necessarily that? Voided, pick things up, new season next season. But with the additions of West Brom and I think it's Leeds. So
yeah. Well, my thing is everybody keeps talking about we need to get more tests and everybody just needs to be tested, blah 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 blah. I would rather see somebody develop a fucking vaccine. You know what I mean? And not necessarily like an absolute cure for this thing, but just something to expedite the end of this shit. You know what I mean? So rather than just finding out more and more people have it and just putting people behind closed doors until locking shit down, vaccine would be the ultimate grand scheme. But anyway, I've always dreamt of 24 teams across the whole fucking board, regardless. I don't know how that would work, but it doesn't actually apply to what we're talking about here. But if we were to do something like promote an extra couple teams, like 22 teams for next season, I would just say fucking keep them there. I think a 20-team league makes no fucking sense when every other league in the country is 24 teams, with exception of League One. I know because Barry was gone and now they have 23. But I don't know. I love the idea of 4 teams being relegated and the best 20 staying up. There you go. But anyway, what I see happening is I see us not playing because I don't see a vaccine happening anytime soon. I see tests and issues and all these spikes in different countries and people not listening to the fucking stay-at-home shit and everything else. I see this dragging out a little bit and us running out of time. And I see it being an absolute clusterfuck. I don't know. It's just one of those things. I don't want to see behind closed doors matches. I think it absolutely makes zero sense. There's too many moving parts. I unfortunately I don't know how I ended up listening to Kara and Neville today, and they were discussing the same shit. They were saying, how can they even play behind closed doors? And then you got to figure out who's allowed to be there, like what staff's allowed to be there, and who's going to be in the building. And there's so many moving parts, not just the players on the pitch, with the coaching staff, the medical staff, the people who actually operate the fucking stadium and the lights and everything else, and the TV crew, if they're going to be there at all, if they're going to at least air it or not. And anyway, that's just stupid to me. Football is not football without supporters there. If it's not the whole package, right? So let's either A, stop it, call it a fucking day, restart it next season, and there you go. And hopefully everything's all fine and dandy by then. Or B, just do what people are saying. And listen, I don't like the idea too much of letting Leeds and West Brom up just because I hate Slaven Bilic. But I do like, the fact that Leeds has done, a damn good job. And listen, I don't like the fact of also not letting them come up because they put so much time and money into earning that position and so on. But hey, who knows what would happen between now and the end of the season? They still had a good chunk of games left, like what, 12,
Fulham
13
right
or something?
there, yeah. Fulham are right on their asses.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So there's no guarantee if that were played out that they were guaranteed that spot. This is just at this moment. So if we're not going to relegate anybody in the top because there was still games to be played left, why the hell are we promoting anybody when there was plenty of games left? There's still other teams in that area as well, Brentford and Nottingham Forest, etc. So anyway, unless you say, hey, fuck it, let's just look at the table, pick up the top 4 teams on the bill and just say, there you go, here's your 24-team league that Tim wants, make it happen.
So that's how the letter would be worded. Here is your 2014 team that Tim wants. Get off our back. Yours sincerely, the FA. I think that's how it would be worded. Right?
Thank you, universe. Yes. So I don't know, man. I just don't see anything good coming out of this. I don't think anybody does. I think that, do we all agree though that the lesser of the evils would be to just say fuck it, let's not play these stupid behind closed doors games, because that's just, how do I put this? If people are healthy enough to do behind closed doors, right? When we're telling people to stay at home, okay, in the same time that we're telling people to stay at home, that doesn't mesh with me. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, it's not necessity, I don't know. But people don't listen, so
Yeah.
When I see it happening late June. I don't see behind closed doors happening now. I see it happening late June when the world is sort of slowly getting back to being what the world actually is. Like, I don't think I see like behind closed doors games happening at the London Stadium next week, the week after.
No.
Not for like a good 12 weeks or whatever. I think that's when it would be. But actually, I'd never thought about what Poshizi said, actually, that you pulled up about the health staff having to be there and stuff. But I've just never thought about that. Yeah, he's right. So no, screw that. I've changed my mind.
What would you do as far as, say we do void the season? Do we give the European competition to the teams that were in it last season because this season becomes void, or do you say, okay, Leicester City is sitting in third, whereas whoever's sitting in fifth, could they have caught them? Do we give it to Leicester because they didn't, finish the season in that position? How would that work for European places?
Isn't like Sheffield, like if they were to play their next game in hand, if they were to play, they would actually jump up to, do we jump above Man United or something like that?
They would go into Europa League, yeah.
Yeah. So
how would that work though? Would we say, okay, because it's voided, the teams from last season get to have another go, and then teams like Leicester and Sheffield United, it was all done for nothing? Or do you say,
that's what I'm saying?
Well, it's just a really fucked situation right now where no one's going to be happy.
And I'm one of those people that hate not knowing what's going on, not knowing things. So that's what's driving me mental, is that we don't know what they're discussing, what their options are, and who knows if like they actually have the smartest people in the room, making these decisions. We don't know. Do we trust that whoever it is that makes these decisions to make the right one? I mean, we could all agree, we could all sit here and agree and say, okay, well, this is the best idea, and then these fucking nitwits in there would like open up cans of worms, and there'd be lawsuits galore, and they'll pick the worst option just for a buck, but then they'll end up losing more money anyway because they're fucking stupid. So I don't know.
And realistically, if I'm UEFA, I just turn around and say, I leave it up to each of you get this many places in the next Champions League, in the next Europa League, figure out how you want to be in it. That's your job. Leave it up to the leagues. That's what I would do to UEFA. And if I'm the Premier League, I would just say, if we're just voiding the season, whoever's in the places now, so Leicester would get into the Champions League. That's what I would say. And if someone comes and complains at me, which they would, and then they would sue me, and so this argument wouldn't work because this is a court of law now. But if they come to me, I just go, well, you should have done better during the season then, shouldn't you? Where's the complaints from? If you didn't win as many games as Leicester, you'd be in that position. But yet, here we are.
But then they'll pull the bar out of their ass and start blaming other things, and also the strength of schedule, like meaning like, hey, we had tougher matches.
And they also have bigger squads. That's the whole point. And they get more money, so they should have bigger squads and better squads.
You're right.
But
I'm just saying that was what they would say.
Yeah, and then I think what would eventually happen is, if we did do that, would that speed up the idea of a European Super League existing? Because would clubs like whoever misses out for Leicester's sake, would they then go, okay, actually, yeah, we can go do this Super League then, screw that, bunning it off.
All right, well, real quickly, any final thoughts or anything else you want to mention before we leave? We'll start with AJ and go around.
Not much I can really say. You guys mentioned lockdowns. We've just entered a 4-week total shutdown, which is, as I was saying to Tim earlier on, it's one way as to how I'm actually here on the channel at the moment. Because of course, working in public transport, I'm still working, but I don't have any shifts at this present point in time. But New Zealand's in a mandatory 4-week shutdown. It's only day one, so time will tell to see what happens here. But as far as the footballing matters go, I think whether we like to admit it or not, the best minds are working on it. If there is going to be a solution, they will tell us what that solution is and when they're planning on implementing it. But
if not, then we'll just come back here and bitch about it. That's what we're good at.
I like that. I like that. Sounds like a plan.
Jess.
I'll have popcorn.
Yeah. Jess, any final words or anything like that? Or?
Yeah, similarly, I've been stuck at home for 3-4 weeks, but fortunately able to work from home, so I haven't been into the office for that time. Two of the children had their exams, which have been cancelled, so daughter will be going to university based on her predicted grades, and the son similarly. Just taking day by day, like you said, it's very key that they fast track the vaccine soon as possible.
Yeah.
Really, and just being at home doing the gardening and just trying to stay at home as long as I can, really, which is the key thing. And it's just frustrating to see a lot of people not sort of listening to the advice. And how different countries are dealing with it. In some parts of the world, the police are actually sort of quite strict when they see someone walking around the road, where obviously in the UK we still nicely request people to stay at home. So just catching up with things, doing more reading and watching some of the old videos like everyone else, really. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that we were able to get you guys on tonight. You know what I mean? Like,
and we are missing going to the game. Like Charlie, Gonzo, Gio, we used to have a laugh. It just seems like years now since we've met. So first time we go back, it's going to be berserk.
I'm so thankful that I got my vacation in when I did my holiday, and I got to go over there before this whole bullshit happened. Which is so weird because the movie I watched on the flight was like Contagion or something like that. And this is when you get the first glimpse of like in the news that they were saying this shit was happening in China. At that point, I'm like, oh Jesus, here we go. I'm heading over to London. What the fuck, you know? Anyway, sorry, Danny. Any final thoughts or anything you want to say before we?
No, we just started our lockdown today in North Carolina. 4:00 today we started, but obviously I work for FedEx, so there's no stopping for us. So I'm still out there working and stuff, and I was sick. You know, I've been sick for a little while, and but I mean I'm going on 13 days minus the 3 days that I was out for sickness, and I went from 60 stops a day to 150 stops a day, and this is draining me now. But I just hope they come up with something soon, because you know I'm not even able to see my kids as much as I want now because their baby mama is scared that I'm going to get sick again because I'm handling international packages.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so I just want it all cleared up. To be honest, man, I'm just
same here, man.
Of it already.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. I'm just tired of the whole fucking thing. It's just it's taken a lot out of me, man. And not just that, but like I'm here pretty much for the kids. I mean, I luckily had a scheduled surgery on my shoulder that just timed this thing perfectly for me. So I'm not being laid off. I'm still doing my thing, but I got the kids, man. Those kids, they know how to daddy. Hey, can you help me with this? Hey, and or they're fighting. And my little 5-year-old loves to kick my 11-year-old's ass.
I'd do anything for your situation right now. I get to see mine on video camera.
Okay, yes, but
on video camera.
I know, but
I'll take daddy.
It is stressful, man.
Daddy.
It is fucking stressful. Anyway, love them. I love them all. All right, Charlie, what final words you got, man? Anything good? What's going on?
I've just today received my delivery of new pajamas, which is nice. I'm wearing them now. You can't see here, but on my bottom half, I'm wearing pajama bottoms from Marks and Spencer's loungewear. Very comfortable. It's going to make the next several months nice. That's good. So that's a positive. I'm also glad no one said Hugo. I thought I was going to get it. I thought I was done for. When you said, we're going to do worst 11, I was like, all right, Hugo's coming. I'm going to have to defend him. No one did it, which proves that everyone knows I was right all along. He's the man to take us forward. # recall Big Jaws. That's all I've got to say. Also, like Hammond chat, Hammers_chat, all that stuff. But more importantly, Jordan Hugo. Thank you very much. That's all I had to say.
Yeah, so I just want to thank each and every one of you for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it. I know it's just after 2 a.m. in the UK, so thanks to Charlie and Jazz for popping on. And I literally asked you guys today, so it was kind of last minute. So I appreciate that. And AJ, man, what is it? 3 in the afternoon there now?
Yeah.
Which is normally you'd be working. So yeah, I appreciate that. And I'm glad you're feeling better though. You do seem to be feeling better, right, Danny?
I'm about 75%. I'm nearly there.
You're getting there, man.
Okay.
I wish you well, for sure. And everybody in the chat room, thanks for popping in tonight. Tim a dull boy. I'm just typing out all work, no play, make Tim a dull boy. So just I can't type tonight. But anyway, yeah, so guys, listen, tomorrow night, we're going to try to get Lee to get off his ass and do something. I don't know what. I filled in for him tonight because I wanted to talk to my friends. So here we are. And we'll do something tomorrow night for sure. I don't know what. Lee might interview somebody. He might just do something fun. I don't know. Friday Night Lights, the tournament continues this weekend. That's a big one. So there's only 2 episodes left in the first round. So Charlie, Jazz, and Jazz is our wild card for this round. And Ian Bishop, that's right. 2 weeks time. It'll probably be a Sunday because that's the only time that the host can do. So this Sunday, though, we have Scott Collier from West Ham Fan TV versus Baz Cox versus Tex, a.k.a. Kyle from Fresno Irons, the host of American Hammers Radio. So that'll be a good one. So the last episode, I can't remember who won, Jesus Christ. But anyway, we got a few winners already, and one of the matches for the second round is already set, which is Gina versus Katie versus Irish Tommy. And then, this next, Alex, Jesus Christ, how did I forget this? Alex from American Hammers TV, the guy does the website and all the other good stuff, Mississippi Hammer guy. He's going to take on the winners of the next 2 episodes in the second round, which will be cool. And I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, guys, have a great night. Appreciate it. Check us out. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell because we put videos up whenever. Come on, you Irons. I'll talk to you guys off the air. Come on, you Irons.